So we are recording. So good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to our latest Zoom. We're on day 7. Well done for those who've stuck it out. Well done to my fabulous colleagues, Danny, Hassan and Adrian, who've been battling through the rehearsals today. I don't know whether you've seen some very breaking news. I've just had an email alert from the EBU press office. The American Song Contest is definitely going ahead. It's just been announced. They've just put out a press release that NBC have secured the rights to host the American Song Contest with performances from all 50 states, plus 5 US territories and Washington, DC. There'll be 3 rounds, series of qualifying rounds, then the semi-finals, and then a grand final. Krista Björkman and Ola Meltzig are going to be working on it in the same way they have, of course, a long Eurovision tradition. So yeah, some exciting breaking news, and we look forward to the first qualifying round of the Americavision Song Contest. We won't be providing live blogs and daily Zooms for that. Let me just manage expectations now.
So 55 songs all sounded the same then.
Well, yeah, and they'll be the same voting. North Dakota and South Dakota, they always vote for each other, and the Virginians always vote for each other as well.
It's quite interesting because I find that the good thing about Eurovision is that there's lots of different nationalities and there's not massive differences in the states.
You wonder if Montana is going to have its own cultural kind of music to perform. Anyway, let's stick with the Eurovision for now. Let's keep it European for the moment. So we had today the final set of rehearsals from semi-final 2. So after yesterday's epic, where it felt like there were hundreds of rehearsals, there was a more manageable 8 today, from Georgia through to Denmark. I would say not a huge amount of change from the first set of run-throughs. I think interestingly, kind of my take on it is that the first semi-final, it felt there were more changes from early run-through to second run-through. We look at countries like Ireland that felt like they'd really upped their game a bit. This time around, it feels like a lot of countries were obviously quite happy with how they did in their first run. Not a huge amount of changes. But Adrian, what's the vibe in Rotterdam? What were people saying about some of the stuff we had today?
Not much, because today's ones weren't really that exciting. I think probably you're right in that there didn't seem to be a lot of changes, or if they were relatively minor. And in a way, maybe that's because most of the entries today are not that competitive. If you compare semi-final 1, which is a lot tougher, to semi-final 2, there's not that many that would be super competitive. Those that did well in their first rehearsals, like Albania, Switzerland, Bulgaria, continued to do well, and those that were kind of coasting along in their own way, like Latvia and Georgia, for example, more or less did much of the same today.
So for me, Georgia was the new one, because I missed Georgia the first time around because I had technical problems at the start the other day, so I didn't actually see the Georgian rehearsal. So he has a slightly odd way of singing. It's like he's just turning up, standing in a rather relaxed way. I wouldn't say he sells the song. I don't know what other people think of the Georgian entry. I know, Danny, you're not a particular fan.
No, I'm not a fan of his voice. I mean, he has got a good voice, I will say that, but it's just not my kind of style of song, and it kind of feels like it does feel like the Coldplay-ish type thing. But I think it's good that a song like this is. Well, I think it's good that a song is in I think this is in the competition, but at the moment it's in the last place in the bookies, and I can't see that changing. It might come second last, but I think this is absolutely no chance of qualifying. Sorry to say, but it's nice that he's here.
Hassan, what have your standouts been today?
Well, first of all, this first time I saw Georgia as well today, and he's so casual and relaxed, isn't he? He's just like
maybe a little too casual.
Yeah. So what? I'm just going to sing it. And on the day I may get dressed up properly, I may not. You'll see. But today was also the first time I saw Finland and Latvia. I just love Finland. It's just so in your face, And when I first heard it, months ago, I thought, okay. But the more I hear it, the more I absolutely love it. And today they really just smashed you in the face with it. I think it's outstanding. Latvia, again, I don't particularly like the song very much, But it's a great performance and a really good stage show, especially with the green and all these organic sort of background. I think that stands out a lot. But I tell you what's good fun, which is grown on me now, is Denmark. And it's just so busy and happy, and they look happy, so we're going to be happy. It's a really good feel song. And the others, Albania belts it out. Switzerland is wonderful, but Bulgaria, yeah, honestly, what an act. She is pure class. And again, Portugal, so emotive, love it. I disagree with Adrian. I think this is a great day today. I thoroughly enjoy myself.
I thought Latvia was interesting in the sense that I had to take a work call during the rehearsal, so I put it on mute, but still had it on screen. And actually, I don't like the song. I don't like the Latvian song. One of my least favorites, but it actually looks really good on camera. The kind of combination of the kind of the green outfits and the kind of gold lighting. It looks really impressive. There's some good kind of aerial shots where you see the stage below her. It is a good one. But yeah, Bulgaria stood out. Adrian, not sure what your kind of highlights there as well.
I want Latvia to be so much more than it is. The staging, Samantha Tina is the queen of the night, and she's kind of more like the queen of the backstreet or something in this. That's the wrong phrase. No, not the backstreet.
It's more the queen of early evening than the night.
Queen. She's not even a duchess in this. She's not even a baroness. It's really basic, and it's very uninspired, and it's very uninteresting to me. That I miss her going crazy wearing a hairy catsuit thing last year and just going like this, and I feel it's a bit too boring when we know Samantha Tina is 100% batshit crazy, and there could be so much more to this, and it's just kind of a bit plain and not that exciting to me.
Well, see, I think she actually still does give it everything. She's got lots of good facial expressions, and she does a good routine, and she really does give it her all, but I just think everything else just doesn't seem to work so well. The staging is quite boring. The dress is quite nice, but nothing really happens. And I think halfway through the song, you get bored, and it just doesn't have that pizzazz that you really need for people to vote for it. And she could have done that. You've seen the video. The video was batshit. So you would think that she would maybe try and incorporate some of that into the song. But overall, yeah, it seems like she's toned things down a little bit, which for Samantha Tina is unheard of. I don't know what's going on.
The first 10 seconds or 15 seconds when it's a dong da da dong da da dong and the queen of the night, that's great. And then, well, the queen of the night has come and she's gone home again. And it's sort of, it just gets a bit boring from then on, and it's not as exciting as it could be. And I think if I dragged up, I could probably do a better Samantha Tina than Samantha Tina is doing herself.
Right. I'll hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that.
That's Eurostar sorted.
What she really relies on, I think, is her background graphics. I mean, they did really stand out, like you mentioned, Alasdair, on mute. It looked really, interesting. But I tell you what's absolutely annoying about that act: the background moaning.
I like that.
Oh no! I mean, it drove me up the wall when I first heard it, and it still continues to do so. So I think going on mute might be the best option here. But seriously, she really gives it her all. She's got great personality, and I think that comes through. So
So I'm going to make a very, very controversial statement here, and let's see who agrees with me at the team. And I'm sure some of like Denise that watched it and things. I think Switzerland have made a massive mistake this year. I really do think that they have overcooked everything with the staging. The song, I think, is perfect. He's a great singer, but I don't know what they've done. They've just taken they've taken everything from that song, which was very, very unique and very intimate, and they've turned it into a big, massive stage. It's like just something out of an obstacle course, and they've just taken everything off from it, and it's so distracting. He's trying so hard to get his position in the song and stuff, and he's doing all this kind of random movements, stuff that Samantha Tina should really be doing, not him. But it's just distracting, and I feel that it's just the momentum with Switzerland is just slowly fading away. You get songs every year like Italy and France where the momentum is rising. Bulgaria is another one which we'll come to. The Bulgaria is rising, but Switzerland just seems to be slipping back and back, and it's now down to 6th in the betting. I think it was 4th earlier on in the week, so it just seems to be slipping back. And I feel that from friends that I've seen, non-Eurovision friends that I've seen the clip, they're like, what the hell is this? They just think that it's just not going to work. And I really think that they've really made a massive mistake with that, and I think it's really going to seriously affect their chances. I think they'll definitely qualify, but I cannot see them winning now. The clip, if anyone's seen the clip online, it looks terrible. Sorry, John, but I think you're on to a loser for this one.
I mean, I still think that kind of ending of Switzerland and Denmark is an ideal end to the running order. I mean, you know, I don't want to be negative. We feel very negative today. We're not normally like this. I think it's been at the end of a long week. We should be a lot more a lot more positive. And look, he is an absolutely stunning singer, as John. The staging. Like the stage and the lighting looks good. The black and white contrast. For me, it's the movements don't kind of add anything to the song. He doesn't need to do that. It is a good enough song in its own right. He is a fantastic singer, and it probably needs to be a bit more understated. But I still think it still gives me potential winner vibes. Not as much as Denmark, which of course, as we all know, is going to walk the whole contest, and it's going to be Copenhagen 2022. I get a little bit terrified every time Jesper runs onto the little stage towards the end. I keep having to cross my fingers because he gets a little overexcited, and I'm always worried that he's going to go flying, and that will be good for Eurovision clip shows for year to come, but perhaps not good for Denmark's chances this year. But given its position in the running order, it is the ideal end to the contest. And I think, as someone said earlier in the week, sometimes being the last to perform can actually be at a disadvantage, particularly in the final. But I think in the semi-final, when there are only 16 or 17 songs, it's still got that attention. People have been sort of transfixed by Switzerland, and to have that in his, you know, the pink jacket, the increasingly grubby T-shirt, and our favourite blue and pink lights, I think it is going to definitely qualify. I'm increasingly, because it's just unlike with the others.
I think they're on the bubble. There's about 4 songs that I think are on the bubble, and they're definitely one of them. I think it still has a chance, but for me, it isn't a confirmed qualifier yet. I don't think.
Guys, what about Portugal? You know, but I think that's still a really emotive song. It's just, I think it still really works for me. I just think the whole way they start with a black and white sort of film, then it goes into color, everything. I found that graphics of the female walking down the street a bit off-putting, actually. But you know, his voice is so wonderful. I feel, you know, I think it's going to carry that performance to the grand final. I hope so, anyway.
I think the problem with Portugal is it's a grower. It's a kind of song you need to hear 3 or 4 times to really, really start to get. The first time you hear that song, it kind of just goes by most people. So I think it'll do well with the juries, but I'm still not convinced that the public.
No, I mean, I tried to go and actually what I first hear, and and there's some outstanding song which first hearing I absolutely loved, and that was Portugal, Bulgaria, and Switzerland. And they always took a bit of time, especially Denmark, but I absolutely love it now. And yeah, it's and Finland is now one of my favorites, even though I didn't like it at all. And that's a problem, isn't it? I mean, we listen to this song so many times, and we just get to know them so well. And what's worse is that if you actually meet the people in the press conferences and you think they're nice people, you really want them to succeed, so you start liking songs, even though you know you may not do so purely because you actually like the performers.
Yeah, it's very hard to think about that the first time you heard that song. What was your first impressions of it? What did you think? And I know sometimes I know friends that won't watch it and they will just watch it on the final. We have some fans in UOG actually that do the same thing. They won't listen to any songs. They'll watch it on the final night and then that'll be it. But I mean, there's no way we could do that. I mean, we live, breathe, and Eurovision. So for us, it's just not be possible. But it could be interesting one year. Maybe I need to go into a coma for 3 months before Eurovision season.
But that's why I think Bulgaria is going to do really well this year, because we've as we've seen it a few times, it's kind of lost the novelty value. But I think if you're watching that performance for the first time, it is so different to many of the other songs around it. The staging is very unique. She has got a great voice. She carries the song well. It's sort of understated but powerful at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and she's normal as well.
I agree.
There's no glittery outfits,
I agree.
Adrian.
There's a beautiful moment in the Bulgarian staging, which I don't know if it comes across as much on screen as it does in the arena. There's a kind of a rig of lighting, and it lifts up and sort of expresses the kind of positivity that Victoria comes to at the end of the song. And it's a very beautiful moment. It's very kind of winner moment in a way. I don't know if I see Bulgaria as the ultimate winner, but that bit really works really well for the song.
Yeah. I mean, have you guys noticed that when they had a few years off, right, they came back Bulgaria and they really upped the ante. I mean, virtually every single song they've done, since they had a little break, has been, more or less top notch. They look at Eurovision carefully and they will decide, actually, this is a good Eurovision song. They
feel a bit like Malta. They're totally in it to win it.
I think even more, because they had this year, when they chose the song, they got the public involved. So they asked the public what songs they would like, and they actually got the public to send. You could send an email through a website, and you could say which songs you liked. Why did you like this song? Why didn't you like this song? I think they didn't. I think they chose the song they wanted, but to get that feedback from the public, that's not something that generally happens within Eurovision songs. They generally do an internal selection, or they have the public national final selection. So to get detailed feedback like that, it's quite novel, and I actually think it's actually something that's really, really good, and it's going to put them in good stead, I think. But yeah, for Bulgaria, it's a kind of song that I think is very now. It's very Billie Eilish. It's very 2021. And if there's any song that I think, apart from Iceland, that's going to have a hit in the charts, I think it would be Bulgaria.
And I think of those sort of, I know it's, people do the Billie Eilish comparisons, but of the two, Bulgaria and Romania, I think Bulgaria is streets ahead, certainly based on the performances we've seen this week.
The staging is just so good. It's just so good.
One we've not talked about much today is Albania, partly because there's not a huge amount to say. She did a pretty much identical performance, it felt, to her first run through, which is very good. She is a great singer. The song is unexceptional, I would say, but she sells it really well. It's a standout performance. I think Albania is probably going to qualify. I think it may not reach the left-hand side in the final, but I think it's got a really good chance of getting there.
Yeah, this is the polar opposite to the Switzerland, where they make an okay song much better with the staging, and if Switzerland had a staging like that, I think it would be one of the favourites to win. But
I'd love to see him do that dancing.
Yeah, can you see him in the dress and doing the kind of the bits with his hands and stuff?
Oh, she's slaying.
To quote Adrian, she's slaying. Yeah.
You shouldn't forget that all Albanian female singers are genetically altered, so they can all belt it out. Yeah, and she definitely does that.
I think Albania is very lucky in its position in this semi-final. She's singing it very well, and she's a great singer and a very good performer, but it is basic diva by the numbers and Albania by the numbers, and they're just lucky, I think, that the song comes in that semi-final in such a way, particularly also maybe for us in how we've seen it, based on the way that the semi-finals have been broken down by rehearsal. In reality, she's coming 2 songs after Hurricane, who are giving Balkan Diva far more energetically than she is. Not to take away from Angela, but they're giving it more. So I think it should qualify. And if things are in the sense of things that qualify are deserving of a qualification, then for sure, whether it will or not, only next week can tell.
Yeah.
That leads me on to, given we only had 8 songs today, let's reinvigorate our old friend Hit, Miss or Maybe, and I shall run
We
through
haven't done that for the past few days,
through
have
them all
we?
with you. So let's start with Georgia.
No.
I'll give his
Miss.
beard a hit.
It's a miss.
It's a miss.
It's a miss.
It's a miss,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately.
Albania.
Yeah, it's a hit for me.
Yeah, I really like it, but it may be a maybe. But I hope to see it go through.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably say it's a maybe, but I hope her basic diva moment will get her through.
I'm going to say a hit for that one. I'm going to be optimistic. Portugal.
I think that's another maybe.
I think it's a maybe. I'm just thinking about the songs as well, because you've got songs in a row that qualify. I mean, you've obviously got Iceland and Serbia, and before then, are you going to have 7 songs in a row that qualify? I'm definitely not sure, and I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a maybe for me.
Yeah, I'd probably have it as a maybe. Only today when I started to see this song live in the arena, did I start to like it. I still think it's really weird that they're singing in the first person about a sex worker from Amsterdam, and they're all men. There's something really weird and not sort of right about that, to my mind.
PC.
Particularly in the context of the last few years.
Yeah.
But when I was listening to it today in the arena and hearing them play, although obviously they weren't playing live musically, but it did make me think, if I was in a bar in Lisbon or Porto or Albufeira or wherever, I would probably enjoy this song a lot more than in the context of Eurovision as it is now. So overall, if you were asking me to choose who was qualifying, no. But if you are asking the rest of Europe, then I would probably put it as a maybe.
I'm still going to put it as a miss. I think people will say, oh, that was nice, that was different, but I'm still not entirely sure that it's got what it takes. I'm going to stick my neck out there and say miss. Bulgaria, hit. Yes.
Hit. I think it could win the semi-final. Either them or Iceland, I think, is going to win the semi-final. Definite, going to do really well.
And a hit for me as well, definitely. I hope so. It better be.
And likewise, Finland, I'm going to say a hit.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think a hit as well. I don't think it's going to do as well. It's not going to do that well compared to some people thinking top 10. I think it's not quite got that all-round appeal for that kind of thing. But I do think that it will definitely qualify from this lineup.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because it'll offer the grand final a bit of diversity. You know, it does. You know, we do need a bit of rock besides Italy as well, really, in it. So, no, fingers crossed for Finland. You know, I really want to see that in there.
Adrian, were you a hit, miss, or maybe for Finland?
Yeah, I think in this semi-final, it stands out as something different. If it does get to the final and it's up against Italy, Italy are providing rock so much more cool than Finland. It's a bit like comparing like fashion models doing rock versus troglodytes doing rock. I've had a drink or two.
Interesting comparison.
I'm being too unfair on them. They're doing a very good job, and I can see them qualifying. So let's say hit.
Latvia, sorry, miss. I don't think
Sorry,
it's gonna do
Samantha,
it.
I love you, but it's a miss.
Alas, it's going to be a miss for me as well.
The Queen of the Night is going home on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And Switzerland, yeah, I mean, it's a hit.
It's a hit.
Okay.
But I still don't think it's going to do as well as people think.
Guys, just looking at the chat, Paul thinks that he's always worried about Switzerland. The video was amazing, but on stage, you know, and Emma thinks that he does a very odd little dance in the clip.
Yeah.
Yes, so she's sad, but she's obsessed by the song. Yeah, so I can relate to that.
And Alistair said that they were too scared to leave him by a piano, which I can
yes.
see. We said that the other day. I think they've tried to change it so much to be arcade, but they've gone completely too far. But
I still think it's going to be a hit because he belts it out properly, and it's actually a really, really good song.
Yeah.
And Denmark, dear old Denmark.
Did you know? I do worry about it because you know it's really, you know, it's an excellent performance, but you know I really hope it is a hit because the grand final deserves it basically.
I'm still going to say a hit.
Yeah, I knew you would, Alasdair. You would never say anything else, would you? I think I'm a maybe, because I think that it is still a bit of a niche song to Eurovision fans, and I think that the general public are probably going to think it's a bit dated, which it is, but it's a fun dated song. But yeah, I think it's still a maybe at the moment. I think it probably will just make it, but I'm going to say maybe for now.
Yeah, I'd probably say maybe as well, but given the context of the fact of where it's coming in this semi-final after several less energetic songs, let's say, it probably will qualify on the basis of that. But it does not deserve to qualify for one very specific reason, which I find very stupid and quite annoying. If you look at the no, I'm not that it's ridiculous. That's fine. If you there are two dancers, there are two main performers here. One's in his grubby white t-shirt and a lovely purple jacket and silver trousers, and the other is wearing silver sparkle, blah blah blah. And then there are three backing singers who are wearing brown, yellow, and orange jackets. And it's like, why did you style them like that? Why did you not put them in silver jackets or something that brings it together instead of this like fucking terracotta trio back there? It just makes no sense at all. They're only seen on screen for like less than a few seconds, so no one is going to notice that except me in the background of the arena going, why are you wearing this?
Yeah,
that is the kind of in-depth analysis that that's why we're doing this.
Yeah. I think though, when we get to see the semi-final, which I think is Monday night or Monday afternoon, Monday night, when we see it all bang 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 one after the other, that's when you really get to grips about actually this one stands out much better than this one, because that's when you really get to have a picture of how things come together. So yes, I think we'll have a better chance when we have our next meeting on Tuesday to give you an idea of what we think.
So tomorrow, quick look ahead. It's the very short day tomorrow. It's the second run through of the Big Five plus Netherlands. So they'll be on from 9:30 through until about 1 o'clock. So just the morning. We'll do another Zoom tomorrow evening at 6, and then Sunday we'll have a day off because Sunday the press centre is closed, and we're just going to work out what we're going to do next week because we don't want to overburden with rehearsal and dress rehearsal coverage. But we will definitely do at least a couple of catch-ups next week as well to see how things are progressing. So great, we will see how James does tomorrow.
Yeah, so we have the final, what do we have tomorrow? We have the Big Five plus Netherlands for the second rehearsal, yeah?
Yeah,
that'll be fun. Hopefully we'll get some good performances there. And we'll finish by 12 o'clock, so that'll be good.
We have our afternoon back.
Yeah.
Cool, that's the recording stopped.